Oh, it's so good when you think you're recording, you're not, you're in the middle of the video and, oh well, let's start it all over again. Hey guys, my name is Priscilla Elias and I hope you're doing great. I am for sure because spring is finally here. I have the impression spring is always a little late here in Stockholm, but it might be just me because by the time spring comes, I'm so like, oh, please come back spring. I need the warmth, the light, the sun. But anyway, I wanted to prepare a spring photo session much earlier this year, but it was impossible because it was raining so much and just recently the flowers started to bloom. So I finally went out there to take some new spring photos, and today I'll share not only some nice ideas for spring portraits, but also the entire behind the scenes of the session. How I took the shots, the equipment I used, the settings I used, and also some very important tips that can be very useful and important for spring photo sessions. All of that right after the intro. Spring is here and it's time to take advantage of this pleasing time of the year to make some beautiful portraits. This spring I not only went out there to make some self-portraits, as I also went out there to shoot for some clients. Today I'll share both some self-portraits along with the behind the scenes of it, and also some photos I took for 3 of my clients in order to make this tutorial even richer and full of different examples and angles. I hope that by the end of this video you will have some very nice ideas for your spring photo shoot. Before we start going through the making of and the photos itself, let's talk about the equipment I used. I shot all of these photos with a Canon 5D Mark IV, an 85mm lens 1.8. I took 1 or 2 shots with my 16-35 lens, and for the self-portraits I made, I also used a G-Kodo tripod, which is a very simple and cheap tripod you can find on Amazon, along with the Camera Connect app on my cell phone to trigger the shutter button. If you want to check out any of the equipment I used for this photo shoot, the link for all of it will be in the description of this video. If you've been following me for a while, you know I live very close to a natural reserve here in Stockholm, and I often go there to take photos. I usually go there for walks, and last week I realized the flowers were all over the place, creating something that looked like a mat of flowers on the floor. I also realized I had some beautiful trees full of white flowers I could use for some spring photos. So that's where I started. I think some of the most beautiful spring portraits are the ones the subject is among the flowers, and that's what I intended to do with these first photos. If you're allergic to pollen, don't forget to take an anti-allergic before your photo shoot. Here are the results I got along with the settings I used for these first shots. So I went on to the second idea that I was most excited about, the mat of yellow flowers. The light here in Sweden is crazy. You have only a few hours of light during winter, and from mid-spring to the end of summer, we have endless hours of light. During midsummer, here in Stockholm, the sun rises before 3 AM and goes down at around 12 PM. Right now, mid-spring, the sun is rising at around 3:30 AM, which means that by 9 AM the light is already very hard. I tried to go out there as soon as I could in order to have better light, but I couldn't get there so early because it's been raining a lot lately and the floor would be soaked. So I arrived here at 7:30 and I took these photos at around 8:20 AM. The light was already much harder than I wanted it to be, but I tried to manage it by choosing angles where the shadows wouldn't compromise the portrait too much. This is what happens when you have hard light. You see how my eyes are really full of shadows? Besides, since the light was so strong, I could hardly keep my eyes open. For that reason, I embraced the eyes closed to give the photos this feeling of freedom and inner peace I feel when I'm in places like this. And these are the photos I most like from this second part of the session. So always be aware of the light. The best time for shooting portraits is 1 or 2 hours after sunrise or before sunset for sunny days. When it's cloudy, then you should have good light throughout the whole day, except that of course you might not get such a warm spring feeling to your shots unless you create sunlight in your post. And if you want to learn that, I have a quick and easy tutorial where I teach how to do that in detail. I'll leave a link for it up here and in the description. I walked a little bit further and I found a beautiful tree I could use for some different poses. By now it was around 10 AM, so I was searching for shadows for a better light. That's a very good tip for portraits, by the way. If you're shooting at a time of the day where the light is too hard, shadows might be your ally. They will make your subject look much better, and when I shoot during hard light hours, I usually explore only a few angles and poses in the sun, and I try mostly to go for shadows. Exactly how you see in this video. As you've probably seen on this last video of the making of, by now the wind was also pretty strong, and not only it was destroying my hair, but also it was bringing with it some dark clouds and therefore rain. So for this last shot you will see, because it started raining, I could not film myself taking it, but it's the exact same principle I used for the first shots, except for the fact that now I was using a 16 to 35mm lens to make my hand look huge in front of the camera, like this. The wider your focal length, the bigger whatever you have closer to your lens will look. And by the way, I'm using the 16 to 35mm lens to shoot this video, so you have the exact same effect I had on this photo. And then I also decided to share these photos of Annalise, who is a Brazilian deer client I often shoot for. I took these shots a couple of weeks ago at Kungsträdgården, which is a very famous place here in Stockholm for its beautiful cherry blossom tunnel. The cherry blossom only lasts for about 10 days, so unfortunately, because of the crazy weather we had this year, in addition to my crazy schedule, I ended up not being able to take some self-portraits there. I wish I could have been there earlier in the morning to take these photos also, because as you see, the light was a little hard already, so I needed to search for shadows or specific places where the contrast between light and shadow wouldn't ruin the portraits. And hey, just to mention that these shots, and by the way, the light just changed here also. Let's deal with it. Just to mention that these shots were made at 8:30 AM, right in the beginning of May, when the sunrise was happening at around 5 AM. And finally, these last shots were taken before Corona started, and I really like them. So I just decided to share them with you so you could have some more posing ideas and angles to keep in mind for your shots. Hey, did you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel already? Because if not, please do so, because it will help me a whole lot to keep creating this type of content for you. Also, please let me know if you like this photo shoot, if it was helpful to you, if you learned something from it, and or if it inspired you to go out there and take some awesome spring portraits. Just drop me a line down here, as I will love to know if my videos are any helpful to you. That is all for today, guys. If it's spring out there where you are, please go out there, enjoy the sun, and take some nice spring portraits also. Thanks so much for watching me, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!